Is what we will anticipate most likely is that there will be a resurgence in COVID cases when people are traveling throughout the country for Chinese New Year and interacting with other people and family members, et cetera. And that, of course, would have an impact on GDP.
Right. I think that's what you should expect. I also think that there's going to be COVID. We just talked about the U.S. being big and regions being different. That is also true with China. The coastal cities may get over COVID, may already be past their peak, but inland regions where there's a lot of production and, of course, consumers, they're a ways away. So the consumer boom people are expecting, I think, could happen this year. The conditions are in place, but people are getting ahead of themselves. We could be talking, into the second quarter before it starts. And of course, Chinese consumers are notoriously pro-saving and cautious about spending.
Sure. John, I wanted to ask you, the parallel is often made between the U.S. reopening and that sort of revenge spending wave that we saw here in the Chinese consumer. Things are a little bit different. I mean, during the pandemic, the Chinese consumer didn't get the kind of stimulus checks that U.S. citizens got, for instance. Right. And also going into the pandemic and through the pandemic, there was a property market implosion that is still in place. The property market is still down and out for the count at this point, despite, some of the more recent efforts to revive it. And so I'm wondering how you think about the Chinese consumer boom, I put that in quotes, as the country emerges from COVID, and will it have parallels to what we saw in the U.S.?
Well, Melissa, let's remember that 2 months ago, we were wondering whether they were ever going to get rid of zero COVID. And the uncertainty stretched far into the future. That's over now. They flipped. There's huge COVID crisis in China now, and many more people dying than the government reports suggest. But that means you're going to have this tsunami wave, and after that, things calm down a bit. Derek's right. There are people, migrant workers especially, who've moved from the cities back to their villages, which is why the labor force reduced, which is why the unemployment rate fell. But truth is, this GDP report is better than anybody thought it was going to be. And for the next 2 years, people are looking at like 5 next year and maybe 7 the year after. So I think this is a story that says we're going to see more demand for copper, for coal, and for other commodities. And that's going to help the commodity prices going forward.
Yeah, Derek, how do you think about the boom that we should be expecting and whether or not we should model it after anything that we saw elsewhere?
Well, first, I should say I don't believe the current GDP report. So that's one problem with one difference, perhaps, between among people analyzing the situation in China. I think you're right. I think the equivalent for China will be one, as John said, we need to get through to COVID. Some people say it's already happening. Other people like me say it's more like April. But the second one you've already mentioned, which is we need property stability. Property is a big source of wealth in China. Bank deposits are the number one way Chinese put their money, but property is second. If you can you don't have to have a wild property explosion. That would be unhealthy. But if you can get consumers thinking, I understand the value of my property assets, that's a condition we need for saving. I think that will occur later this year. If it doesn't, it'll occur next year. So I'm, comparatively bullish. This year and next year should be better than 2022. I don't think I'm as bullish as John is.
John, do you think the Chinese government's doing enough to revive that property sector? I mean, policies like eliminating the 3-line policy, for instance, is seen as, potentially helping it. But should it do more in order to get that going? Or, there's a fine line, obviously, because they want to ignite the property sector once again, but they don't want it to reinflate as we saw it before.
Yeah, let's remember, it's not that long ago that we had runs on Chinese banks because of the property loans and the booked rents. But I think that there's not that much they can do beyond what they're doing. It's a huge mess. It's a huge net worth problem. And as Derek says, if it just flattens out a little bit and stops being such a drag, but last year those numbers were down like 30%, the property sector numbers. So I think that going forward, you're looking at capital spending and consumer, but it's consumer goods spending, which is something like the U.S. example. Services spending last quarter was down like 14%, and goods spending was up because you don't have to go anywhere to buy goods. They bring it to your house.